Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. So I just returned from Buckeye Battles 2016. By the time I upload this, it will have been a week or two since I recorded it because I have just a backlog of pre-tournament games to upload, and I want to keep them to maybe one a day. But this is game one of the tournament, my Beast Herds versus an Orcs and Goblins army. I want to start out by saying I went up a day early for the tournament and hung out with Vince Venturella. If you are unfamiliar with his channel, you are missing out. You need to go check it out. Um, but we spent a day with him just teaching me some painting techniques. So he grabbed my Beastlord, which it's a model that when I bought the initial bulk of my beast, what at the time was my Beastman army, he came with it. It's a Reaper miniature. He was already painted and painted okay, not fantastic. I touched it up a little bit, and then for the most part, it's just old and beat up and whatever. So Vince grabbed it and he painted the metal on the weapons, at least the blades and stuff, as well as his armor and his horns. And just kind of showed me some techniques in doing them, and it makes them look so much better. I mean, I look at them and I'm like, yeah, there's some areas that need to be touched up on them again, or just redone. But overall, pretty happy with how the Beast Lord's looking. So anyway, we go to game one. Of course, I'm playing Beast Herds. I matched up with an Orc and Goblin army. This is hidden deployment, so there's a big screen between the two of us. I love this, by the way. It's the only tournament I know of that does this, and I think it's just fantastic. Um, so my opponent and I had talked before the game, and we had seen each other's lists. I knew that he had just a ton of stuff. So my thinking was he's probably going to be forced to deploy across his whole zone. So I intentionally just tried to hug one corner of it, hoping to be able to fight half of his army and then turn around and fight the rest of his army. So it was going for something like that. You had to nominate 3 banners, and if you keep them alive during the game, you can get an extra battle point for each of them. I nominated my one ambushing unit of Wildhorns. My second Wildhorn unit, I decided not to ambush this game. You got an extra battle point if you still had 2 core units that were alive and not fleeing, and a battle point for me if both of my Feral Hound units, because they're my cheapest units on the board, they both had to be alive at the end of the game. So I went into the game thinking, well, my Feral Hounds aren't going to be alive. There's no way, because my opponent has those wrecking teams. So anyway, let's go through what he has. So here on the far right, he's got a scrap wagon, some Nasher Dashers with a character in there. I don't always remember what they are called, and I can't see it right now, but I'm pretty sure that's a character. Yeah, a Cave Goblin Chief on a Cave Nasher. The full list is in the description. Then he's got a Chariot, then it's out of the picture. Then the Wrecking Team, if you look on the far left. Got a big unit of spiders with a spellcaster. That's the yellow model in the front. Now, my opponent introduced himself saying that he's a painter, not a player, and this army he's not finished painting yet. So it's really interesting. If you look at the stuff that's painted, it is gorgeous. It's beautiful. But then he has tons of stuff that's either unpainted or in the works. Anyway, he's got a unit of 10 wolves. He's got his Forest Goblin Chief on a Gargantula. Some more Nasher Dashers. It's a very symmetrical list. Then another Chariot, another unit of spiders. This one has another character, but this one is his BSB. And then, yeah, then a giant, another unit of wolves, and then another scrap wagon. So far right, put my Feral Hounds down way over here. I didn't know, again, this is hidden deployment. I didn't know where my opponent was going to be. I want my Feral Hounds to go take out his Wrecking Team things. I have to keep them both alive to get that extra point. It's just not worth it to me because I don't have anything else that I want to waste on getting this point. So I'm going to Vanguard these guys up. To the left is a Chariot, Mongrel Raiders in the woods, Gorgon behind them. There's my Longhorns, Battle Standard Bearer, my Beastlord, and my Spellcaster, level 2 Lord of Shadow, Path of Shadow. In front of them, I put a unit of Wildhorns with throwing weapons, 10 by 2. I just want to be able to go up there and shoot at stuff, and if his Wrecking Team or anything else, I can't take them out with my dogs. I want these guys to absorb it. I don't really care if I lose them. I don't care much if I lose them. Anyway, I said the 3 banners to keep alive. One was my ambushing unit of Wildhorns as a banner, and then my Minotaurs and my Longhorns. So I get an extra battle point for those, each of those that are live at the end of the game. My second Gortach is there on the hill. And then I've got more feral hounds, the gargoyles behind them, and then another chariot. So for the most part, I'm very willing to use this hill if I need to back up to the right so that all his army on the left can't charge over it. I'm happy to do that if I need to. I just don't know how easily I'm going to be able to handle what my opponent has. So Vanguard looks like this. Because it was hidden deployment, we just rolled dice to see who went first. I won the roll and I went. So overall, it looks like this. You can tell in both cases, really my feral hounds are just trying to get up there where they can get those the wrecking teams. In Magic, nothing of significance happened. We go to Orcs and Goblins turn 1. He moves up like that. So if you look on the far right, he actually connected a huge long charge with his scrap wagon. Almost certainly going to kill those dogs, overrun, and hit the chariot. And then I think my Minotaurs will still be able to see it. I can countercharge, but I'm probably going to lose the chariot. And then my Minotaurs are going to be facing like right to left, totally out of position. So I thought that was somewhat unfortunate. And then if you look, his wrecking team right in the middle of this picture, right in front of my lines, that guy just zoomed all the way up there, really close to me. So I'm going to be able just to walk up my Wildhorns and get them. And then the other wrecking team is right in front of his general. So I kind of like that too. His general's just kind of stuck there. So here's this on the far right. We go to combat, and he absolutely whiffs it. He does like 1 impact hit, and then he's actually able to kill 2 more dogs. My dogs do a wound back. He still wins by a charge and 2 extra wounds. Wins by 3, and the dogs stick. I wasn't hugely worried about it, but that's just awesome. It just helps me every way because now my Minotaurs can charge, and I'm in their front, and my overrun takes me more towards where I want them to be. So I'm feeling really confident about this game. I was okay with the matchup anyway. The hidden deployment I felt favored me. And if you look at the left side of the board, he has some stuff over there that's fairly fast, but for the most part, he's so far away, and I'm immediately engaged with stuff on the right. So feral hounds that were on the left marched up and touched his wrecking team. So that thing is destroyed. There's a blue star there showing it. And then if you look at my Wildhorns in the middle, they stepped up and did the same thing there. So it kind of clogs up my lines, but again, I don't really care. I got to charge off with my Centaur Chieftain into a Chariot and with my Gortach on the right into his Nash Dashers, and I like that. And those things are fairly killy, but my guy's toughness 6 wounds, and I just need to be in combat, so when he wounds me, I can just hopefully roll some 6s to wound and regain my wounds back. The giant on the left charged his dogs, and they fled through his big unit of Spider Riders with his spellcaster on the right. And I think it's a spellcaster and a hero level character, I think, and they failed their panic test and ran right off the board. So then he just redirected into his general and made the charge. This beast herd's beginning to turn 2. That's a huge swing. I'm not really worried about this big unit of Spider Riders. I'm not sure what the thinking is behind it, like what they're for, but I look at them, I'm like, I don't care. They don't bother me. But to have one run off the table, it's just huge. I mean, it's just a lot of pressure off. So the Minotaurs get their charge into the scrap wagon. Might be able to kill it just through, well, probably not through impact hits, I guess. Got these charges. I'm confident that those will go well. This one, I don't know about. I mean, the Gargantula has that special kind of attack. I mean, there's just so many attacks coming at my guy, and one of them can be high strength and I think multi-wound, and that worries me. But if I roll 6s to wound, not only do I get my wounds back, but I'm doing D3 wounds at a pop. I mean, my guy, he could kill this thing outright. So kind of curious about that. These guys came on, and they're going to shoot at his the second unit of Nasher Dashers, just trying to pick off what I can. Anything helps, and they killed 2, so whatever. At the end of combat, yeah, we're initiative 4. Minotaurs just absolutely crushed that thing and overran. Won both of these combats, but wasn't able to catch either unit. So I'd really rather them run off the board. If they don't, I'll just have to charge them again. It's just going to cost me an extra turn. And over here, yeah, I did some wounds to him. I think I did 3. And I think he did 2 wounds to me. Luckily, the high strength attack he had, multi-wound attack, missed. Thank goodness. So now my opponent has some interesting choices to make. Does he rush in here and try to save his general? And I think the answer is yeah, he kind of has to. So Orcs and Goblins turn 2. Overall, it looks like that. His units on the left side of the board, he's got his giant and his unit of spider riders. That's a lot of spiders coming up. Yeah, again, I don't really fear a whole lot over there. Meanwhile, over here, Dashers into the flank of my Gortach. I'm actually pretty confident about this. I mean, I have 3 wounds done to me. So I don't know where that third one came from because I thought he was only on 2, but whatever. So that's not ideal. It only has 3 wounds left, and there's a lot of attacks coming in. I don't know. Maybe I just have a false sense of security about this guy. I just think he can absorb a lot and then just roll some 6s and just crush things. But I was wrong, and this Nasher Dashers just come in and just slaughter him, overrun an absolute ton. And then his general turns around to deal with that unit who ambushed. So I think that's a mistake. I think that unit that's ambushing, if I were my opponent, I would go ahead and charge him in the flank with those dogs. But the general, I would get in the thick of things because he needs everything he can get where it matters, and that unit doesn't matter. They're not going to hurt him that much. They're not really a threat. I think it's kind of a huge mistake to do that. Of course, it's possible he was thinking he didn't want me to charge him in the rear. So I take that back. Maybe that's what he was thinking, is, if he had to reform just to make sure I didn't charge him in the rear. Very, very possible. All right, we go to Beast Herd's turn 3. Overall, the table looks like this. If you look on the hill, I'm just pulling my stuff back as much as possible. I don't want his far-reaching units to be able to charge something weak, like my Chariot or my Gargoyles or this Mongrel Raiders. So I'm just pulling them back. I'm stepping forward with my Longhorn unit with my characters. I'm like, charge me. Bring it. I don't care. Meanwhile, if you look at the top, yeah, so I think I should go back one. Hold on a second. So my Longhorns in the middle charged the flank of his Nasher Dashers that had killed my Gortach, and they're gonna crush them. They beat him in combat, but can't catch him. My Longhorns didn't charge anything, by the way. They I think they were just throwing his general, trying to do as many wounds as possible. We go to Orcs and Goblins turn 3. He's got his Scrap Wagon, General, and Fast Cav all picking on that unit at the top. That's going to cost me 1 battle point because, in hindsight, I foolishly made them one of my banners. Although if I had to do it over again, I would have done the same thing. If anything, I just wouldn't have ambushed them. I probably should have just ambushed them somewhere safe where they might be useful. But I put them right behind his lines, and the only reason was so I could shoot at some Nasher Dashers. In hindsight, it just wasn't necessary, and I put that point at risk. Meanwhile, he brings his giant and this big unit into my Longhorns. I consider my Longhorns my answer for cavalry, which actually isn't really true anymore because I run them at strength 5. So anything with a 1-up armor save is saving on a 3-up, and I have a hard time punching through it. But anything in my list, this is my anti-cavalry unit, and he brings this weak cavalry into their face. Now, in his defense, what else is he going to do? Anyway, so I brought that in. I'm a little nervous, but not really. Meanwhile, these guys are absolute toast. And after combat, so we won combat by quite a bit. He ran. We only were able to do 1 wound to the giant because he's was kind of clipping, and he was stubborn, so he stuck. So that kept my unit from being able to pursue him. His dogs failed their panic test, which I thought was really unfortunate for me because I liked where the dogs were. I was going to charge him with a Chariot, and then if he didn't flee that, then I think they would at least hold him up, and then I could bring other things and pick on him. He fled, and so now it's just going to be hard to get those points, but whatever. Let's see. Meanwhile, over here, it looks like... Yeah, that's right. So he charges in. I said his scrap wagon made it in. His scrap wagon tried to make it in. He failed it by an inch. His general comes in, and I issue a challenge, and so his general just absolutely, kills my champion, but whatever. His dogs hit the flank. They do some wounds. I do some wounds back. He doesn't have any ranks with the dogs. I have 2 ranks total, so I'm steadfast, and luckily they stick. So I'm going to lose the unit, I think, but at least they're kind of tying things up. All right, Beastlord's turn 4. As far as I'm concerned, it's really just time to mop up. We had reformed on the Giant to get to a few more attacks there. My Chariot and my Centaur Chieftain charges scrap wagon. Now, the important thing here is that I kill it. And with the impact hits, and then with the Centaur Chieftain's 4 strength 7 attacks, I'm pretty sure we're going to kill it. Then I just need to overrun with the... I need to make sure... Well, anyway... Need to overrun a Centaur Chieftain, and if he just touches that unit, that gets my opponent's Battle Standard Bearer and that whole unit of spiders. And that's the plan there. We kill the Giant. Strength 5, 6 wounds, just, having played Giants a lot just isn't enough. His best bet is to try to make me not be able to attack, but if he can't do that, then he's toast. Up top, my Longhorns my Wildhorns couldn't do much, so... They ran off the table. His fast cav are off the table. His general reforms to face my Gortach. This is my turn, so that means on his turn he's going to be able to charge my Gortach. He's got 5 wounds on his general on the Gargantula. I think he starts with 8, and I think that's a huge mistake to charge my Gortach because I'll take that because I think I'll do a few wounds to him. We go to Orcs and Goblins. I'm going to go back one. That was Beast Herd's turn 4, so this is actually Orcs and Goblins' turn 4. His general charges my Gortach at the very top. His scrap wagon is kind of in the top middle, just kind of hanging out. And his 2 units of fast cav are marching away from me. So there's that. And at the end of the day, I actually gain a wound back and just slaughter him. And then, yeah, so... At this point, now we're starting turn 5, and I was like, look, we can draw this out if you want, but your fast cav are going to live because I can't catch them. If you want to hide them in the corner, you can and you should because they're not going to get any points, I don't think. I'm going to get that scrap wagon because I can charge it with my Centaur Chieftain and maybe a Chariot and maybe even Minotaurs, and if I don't now, I'm going to get him. He's not going to get a charge on me. So it's going to be... in the points, it's going to be 20-5 is how they score it. And then any of the bonus points, I've either already gotten them or I can't get any more, and the same with my opponent. So we said, yeah, let's just call it, and it's the inevitable. So out of 25 possible points, I got 23. I missed a point because those ambushing guys, I lost that banner, and I couldn't keep both units of Feral Hounds alive. Like I said, I never really thought I would, but I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, this was just a good matchup for me in a lot of ways. If anything, I'll always take as many points as I can get in a tournament because you never know when you're going to have bad games. But the problem with doing 23 points in game 1 is that you're at the top tables right off the bat and playing people who are also had a huge win, and it can make for a rough road through the tournament. But we're off to a strong start. Once bitten here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.